Well, as you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. My son and daughter-in-law have gone out and I didn't realise they'd left the conservatory door open. And I went to make my breakfast and I thought the dogs are very quiet. Look what Rosie's done. She's dug a big hole in the middle of the lawn. Oh, what am I going to do with her? Oh dear. Anyway, I'm going to go in now and finish off this video. Well, start this video. I haven't even started it, have I? I just thought I'd show you what a mess she's made. She's now sulking, of course, because she's got told off. So, I'm going to sit back. I haven't got a lot to show you, I tell you, but I thought I'll sit down. There's the throw I made. It's now finished up on my chair. Anyway, I'm going to flick this around now. You'll still see what I was seeing before. But in a minute you'll see me, you lucky people, when I get this tripod sorted out. Hello. Well, it's Friday, it's a bank holiday. Family have gone to see a festival, rock festival somewhere or other, and as I said, left me in charge of the dogs. Didn't realise I left the conservatory door open, did I? I'm happily making my breakfast and thought, dogs are quiet. Not like Rosie to be this quiet, you know. Yeah, I should have known better. So now I've got to go and fill the hole in. Of course, I will be in trouble again because there's a hole dug in the lawn on my watch. Although technically it wasn't my watch, because if they'd have said the door's open, I would have gone and closed it while I was making my breakfast. Oh, that was the little one coming in. She obviously misjudged the step. You alright, chicken? You alright? She takes over my son now, I'm just trying to sort out my crochet. I did a little bit yesterday, although not a lot. For some reason or other, my hips were aching. Old age, innit? Creak. You know, when you get to a certain age, you've got to expect creaky bits. I just seem to get a lot of creaky bits lately. Oh, it's the joys of being older, isn't it? I'm still doing this. Don't know what it is. It's called Maple, but I don't know what brand it is. I've looked all over the label and can't find one. Obviously, it has been made by someone, although I can't remember who. Anyway, I'm up to, I took it with me yesterday when I went out to the cafe to meet my friend. There's usually two of us, but one of them couldn't come again. So, I've got to the armhole bit now. Although it does look a bit short, actually. But I've actually done it longer than the measurement says. But I made it myself, but I must have made it a lot longer when I made it for myself. So I just hope that the lady I'm making it for will like it a bit on the shorter side. Yep. Oh, here comes the culprit. I can hear her coming. Hello, you. Hello, don't you go digging again. No, no, no. Why'd you have to show Grandma up by going and digging on her watch, huh? You get me into bother with your mum and dad. I don't know. What you like, Rosie? There she goes. She's barked at the man next door because he was like minding his own business on his own driveway. Not doing any harm to Rosie whatsoever, but of course she objects strongly to next door standing on their own drive, yeah. She's so territorial over everybody, not just our drive, next door's drive as well. Anyway, I've not got a lot to tell you really. My tooth, there's been no trouble. You know, the root I took out, there's been no bother at all. As my mum used to say, I've got good healing flesh. Which is strange really, because I'm diabetic, and usually when people are diabetic they have problems healing anything up. You know, if you have a cut or anything, it takes a bit longer. But nah, not with me. Anything I have heals up very, very quickly, yeah. Sorry if I keep putting my head down, but I'm looking at what I'm doing. It's a glorious, glorious day, so we will be in the garden, but I didn't want to do the video in the garden because it's very bright. And I've had trouble with my eyes ever since I had my cataracts done. They don't like sunlight, they run. Oh, water. Anyway, I was supposed to go back to the hospital to have them checked again, but they cancelled the appointment. Part of the course if you're in the UK. I'm overdue an appointment with the, the optician, so maybe he can tell me why my eyes run all the time. Although they do keep saying it's dry eye. How can it be dry eye when you're sobbing like you've been bereaved everywhere you go if the sun shines? I don't want to have to live my life wearing sunglasses, but that's what it seems to be. Either wear a big sun hat or wear your sunglasses all the time. So this is why I am actually in the conservatory, even though it's a glorious day and I should be outside. Why I am wearing a sweater, I do not know. But as you know, I feel the cold. I really feel the cold. I don't know what is wrong with me lately. Unless I'm outside in the sunshine and it's absolutely, as we say up north, cracking the flags. In other words, it's hot. Cracking the flags is like, the flags are the paving stones. You maybe call them sidewalks in America. Anyway, they're made like paving slabs or flags, and we call them flags in the UK. So that's what it means. When you say it's hot, you say, my goodness, it's cracking the flags today. I think it would take a lot more sunshine than we normally get in the UK to crack any of the pavements, but that's it. Or it's hot enough to fry an egg on the flags, yeah. Not that you'd want to try it, would you really? You'd have to mop and disinfect the flag before you actually put an egg on it, yeah. But it's not that hot yet, although it is lovely to see the sun. I went down to Cleveland's to my knit clubs on Wednesday, well, one of the knit clubs in the afternoon, and it was really, quite nice, but very windy on the seafront. It would be gorgeous if that wind would just drop. I think I would like where I am much, much better if it wasn't so flipping windy all the time. Anyway, yesterday, as I said before, I have a standing arrangement that I go and meet a couple of my friends at the cafe up near the Marine Hall in Fleetwood. And it was beautiful, lovely and warm. I had to go past the Mount Hotel. And apparently it's a hotel with like 3 stories of flats, apartments above. And one on the top floor had caught fire. So apparently there was like loads and loads of fire engines there the night before. And they were still there yesterday morning when we went past. Well, a couple of them were. The fire's actually out, but I think it's just the damage that it's done to the roof, and obviously to one apartment, and possibly more, I don't know. It's a shame really, I don't know what will happen. Whether the water damage is like percolated through, the floors underneath, the apartments underneath the one that was on fire. Because the one that was on fire was on the top floor. Water damage is like sometimes worse than the fire, isn't it? Because it all drips through. No doubt we will find out more when it gets put in there. Well, I don't have a newspaper here, so, I have to rely on things that come online, mine is mostly doom and gloom, isn't it, when you go online? I still get the Manchester Evening News online, and it's always, something horrible's happened. Crashes, stabbings, people falling into the canal and drowning, it's all full of good news, I just wish it would say, today is a beautiful day, look at the sunshine. It doesn't say that, no. I think people just want to read gossip or, the bad news and gossip. We were talking about this the other day, about the news that's on the TV. You should have a good news channel, where there's something nice that occurs. Not every time you switch on the TV to look at the news, you don't want to, do you? Because it's always something bad happening somewhere or another. And I know we need to know about these things, but, they could temper it a bit, couldn't they, with a bit of good news. We want to hear about somebody's good news, don't we, for a change? Oh, that's coffee. Is hot. It's not at optimum drinking tension. Optimum drinking temperature yet. So, anyway, I was going to get up a lot earlier. Well, I did get up a lot earlier, to be truthful. But what with the family toing and froing, packing up to go away, I just stayed out of the way while they were having the usual domestic arrangements, you know, like me. I thought I'd keep out of this. Have you put this in the van? Have you put that in the van? So I thought, no, I shall stay out of this, stay out of the way until they've got everything packed up and they've vanished. So as soon as they vanished, I went and did my breakfast, and that's when I discovered what Rosie had done. We should have a little chapter, shouldn't we, say what Rosie did, or what Rosie did next. Trixie is looking at me like it wasn't me, Grandma. I didn't have anything to do with it. And I must admit, she doesn't dig, this little one. No. She might do a lot of other things, but digging is not one of her fortes in life. Yeah. Now, my Buster, when he was alive, he used to dig all the way down to Australia. His holes used to be so deep, he used to fall in them. And trying to heave a great big staffy cross boxer out of a hole when you've got a bad back, it's not fun. And the number of times he got himself stuck head down into his hole. Yeah, I don't know what the people who moved into my house thought, because I actually left it. I actually left them Buster's hole. I never had the heart to fill it in, you know, because it was like his lasting legacy, wasn't it? He left it. And it wasn't in the way. He dug it like round the corner of the steps to my decking. So it wasn't in the way at all. And I thought, no, I'm not filling it in. It just reminds me of him. Every time I looked down, there was this big, like 2 foot deep hole. There's my Buster. Now, Gigi didn't dig. Gigi used to hide. The number of times I thought I'd lost him, even though my garden was secure and there was absolutely no way you could get out. You have that panic moment when you can't find them. You shout them and you shout them and you go around looking and he's not there, and you're like, oh my goodness, how has he managed to get out? And you're looking for a little gap in it, because he was tiny, if you remember. Looking for a little gap in the fencing, thinking, has he gone through a little gap and got lost or something? Because I lived right next to a woodland, you know, we used to call the clough. And he loved the clough. That's where he used to go walking. And I'd be shouting and going really panicking, my heart be going like this. And then he'd emerge from underneath a bush somewhere, yawning and stretching as if saying, did you call me? Yeah. I mean, one time he did get out. He got out through the front door. When I'd opened it, I didn't realise he shot out. And he shot down the road, and of course I couldn't run after him. So Sue was visiting at the time, so Sue went trying to find him. And I got my scooter out and tried to find him the other way. Could we find him? We couldn't find him anywhere. Anyway, the little beggar had run through the clough and gone home. Anyway, luckily, one of his daddies was there. And he managed to get him. Little monkey. He just ran like the clap, as he would do, like a thing possessed he went through. You know, I thought, oh, that teaches me never to open a door without checking where he was first, you know, because he was like grease lightning. Whee! Off like a little rocket he was. You know, for such a little dog. Only this little one, this Trixie. Our little French bulldog, she can run like the clappers when she wants to. She's not too good over a long distance. She gets very tired very easy. Whereas Rosie, she's part whippet or part lurcher or something. Somebody did ask me on Instagram what breed she was. Well, like it's like, you know, how long's a bit of string really. She's Romanian, as you know, we got her as a rescue from Romania. So we have no idea what she actually is. But the people who adopted her sister, they had her blood analysed to see if they could see what kind of, you know, breed she was. And it came back with like a million different things. And in actual fact, there's some poodle, would you believe in a poodle? No Patterdale, although she looks really like a Patterdale. There's none of that in her bloodstream. But she's lurcher and she's got all kinds of things in her. But our guess was Patterdale, but no, because of the rough coat. If you're in the UK and you used to know a comic when we was kids called, I think it was the Beano or the Dandy, and there used to be Dennis the Menace and his dog Nasher. She is like Nasher personified, really. She would win the Scruffy Dog contest, yeah. She's actually due a clipping, but we don't like having her done, really. I know it sounds awful, but she comes back and it's not Rosie. They clip her really, really short, so all her like wild hair has gone, you know, and you're like, whose dog's that? She doesn't look like herself for months until it grows back in again. She was due a clipping this month actually, but we haven't managed to book her in yet. Tell you, trying to book dogs into dog groomers here, it's like trying to get an audience with the Pope or see the Queen, as we used to say. See the King it is now, isn't it? But, you know, honestly, they're like gold dust, the groomers around here. You have to book up months in advance, and I don't think she's booked in yet. But you do need scratching, sweetie. This little one, oh, if she goes, if you can see her. This little one will keep scratching her face. I don't know why. I've got some ointment I've got to put on, some cream. Some cream. When they went up to visit some friends in Scotland, she got scratched by a cat. Her own fault, because she was poking and nosing at this cat. And we don't know whether it's from then or it's just a coincidence, but ever since then she keeps scratching one side of her face, the face that got scratched. I mean, the scratch healed up, no problem. But now she keeps itching it, and you have to keep stopping her from itching it because she makes it sore. So we have got some cream from the vet, you know, to put on her. So, you know, that's one thing about our family that I will say. If there's anything wrong with any of the dogs, they do go to see a vet. You know, we're not one of those. You know, if there's anything wrong with them, they do go to the vet, yeah. Much as it costs, it's about as expensive as going to the dentist, or even worse, isn't it? Yeah. So, I don't really have an awful lot to tell you, really. I've not been watching many YouTube videos. There's certain ones I always watch. I always watch Tracy from Crochet Rocks. I always watch her videos, yeah. She's been having terrible internet troubles, as has my friend Sue in Scotland. They're both on Sky, which is like run by O2 or something. Sue in Scotland, she hadn't had any TV or phone signal for over a week. And I don't know how long Tracy's internet's been off, but I mean, like Tracy has a shop selling yarn, you know, Hobby Rocks. If you go look at her channel, she'll tell you. Very reasonable prices, and she does ship to the US. So it's like her livelihood, really. You know, it's like her job, isn't it? I mean, for me, alright, it would be inconvenient if I was off the internet, which I have been on different occasions. We've been off the internet. But it's not the end of the world to me, because it's not like my job, is it? You know, it's just me chatting. You know, boring you all rigid with tales of the unexpected, you know. But, you know, but when it's people's livelihood or things like that, it's a bit bad, isn't it? And there was no mention of the word compensation, you know, which there should be, shouldn't there? If you're a business and you're, you know, using the internet as a business, there should be compensation. I mean, what happens if it's a big company, you know, say it's a big whatever, you know, doing thousands and millions of pounds worth of trade every single day, you know. How do they get compensated when their internet's down? But it just shows you how much things have changed since, like, I was a child, when everything was bricks and mortar, wasn't it? You had to physically go to a shop if you wanted something. I mean, probably people today would think, oh, that's inconvenient because I'm working full time. But it was even worse for us because like the shops used to keep the 9 to 5, you know, hours. There was none of this 24-hour opening or late night opening. Or there might have been a late night opening till 10, one night of the week. So, you know, it was hit and miss like for myself and my ex-husband when we wanted to buy anything. You had to sort of either take a day off work and go during the day, or hope that they were open maybe on a Saturday, which was difficult because I had a shop myself and I used to open on a Saturday. You know, you had to physically go places. You couldn't, oh yeah, we'll look online and we'll get it sent to us, you know, which they do today. I must confess though, if I am actually buying anything of a substantial size or whatever, I'm very loath to order things online because they're never quite what you expect when they arrive, are they? I mean, I've been very lucky with most of the bits because I had to order a lot of my furniture here when I came here online because it was COVID. And of course the shops were closed, a lot of them, or, you know, they were only open a certain time and they'd only let so many people in at once and you had to wear your mask and, you know. So I actually ordered the sofa that I have in my lounge, I actually ordered it online. But I must confess, fingers crossed, I was very, very lucky. It's been absolutely superb. And I can't fault it. It wouldn't have been any different, I don't think, if I'd have seen it in its physicality, you know what I mean? So I was very lucky. But I've heard of other people having terrible, you know, ordering things online and they've come and they're absolutely substandard and not what they wanted at all. So I've been very lucky in that respect, really. We did have to go to IKEA, or whatever you call it, but it's miles away from here. It's like, take your sandwiches and a flask, you know, it's like a day trip out to go to IKEA. So we've only been once, I think, or I think they've been twice, but I've only been once. I went to look for a sofa and didn't find one. But you know, as usual, you come away with a basket full of stuff you didn't go for when you go to IKEA. But the meatballs are nice. You cannot go to IKEA without going for the meatballs. This is what I miss because, like, when I lived in Manchester, everything was in striking distance, you know. Even our IKEA, I didn't have a car myself, as you know, but I could ask, you know, my niece or my son or whatever to take me because it was only a few miles up the road. It wasn't like, you know, asking them to take me out for the day, you know. And half the time, whoever asked to take me, you know, said, oh yeah, we don't mind going, we'll have a look round ourselves, you know. Because it is like Wonderland, isn't it, in there? You know, you go in for a sofa, don't you, come out with a great big bag full of candles and everything you didn't go in for, you know. New crockery. Baskets you didn't go in for and stuff like that. But I wish we had one nearer. That's the only problem with this place, living here, is everything is miles away. Everything is a day trip away, you know. You cannot just think, oh, I'll just pop to B&Q, or oh, pop to IKEA. You can't, because there's nowhere around. Whereas where I lived before, I could have even got a taxi, you know. I mean, it would have cost me a little bit, but I could have got a taxi. Just a bit too far, like, for me to go on a scooter, but, you know, within striking distance, yeah. This is what I miss here. I do miss this sort of availability of things, you know. Yes, I could go down to Blackpool, I suppose, if I took my folding scooter and I trundled up the road to the tram stop. I could go to Blackpool, but it's not my favourite place, I've got to confess. When I moved here, everybody's going, oh, you'll be at Blackpool, won't you? Oh, every weekend it's fun in Blackpool. And I'm like, no, it's not my cup of tea, isn't Blackpool, you know. It's a bit, well, I don't know what you would call it. It's definitely not Las Vegas, but you know, it's the very, very, very poor man's Las Vegas, you know. I just don't like it. It's not like it used to be when I was a child, you know. When I was a child, you could walk down what they used to call the Golden Mile, and it was full of little shops that sold, you know, candies and rock and When I say rock, it's like sticks of rock. It's like a stick of, well, you'd call it candy in America, stick of sweeties. And it was very, very famous because it would have Blackpool written all the way through it, you know. No matter where you bit, this Blackpool would run all the way through it. And they used to have shops, I can remember, where they used to blow little glass ornaments, you know, little tiny Bambis and things like that. Used to watch that with great fun. And then there used to be games, which would be now very, very tame. Everybody would sit in a long row, and there was like horses that went along the top, and they were like little wooden horses. And you sat and you played this game, and you threw a ball up like that, and there was holes in this like wood. It was a bit like bagatelle, you know those bagatelle? But you did it yourself with a little ball. And when it plopped into whatever number, your little horse would go like 4 paces forward or 6 paces forward or 2, whichever you threw, yeah. And of course whoever won at the end, no, there'd be about 10 people playing this game. Whoever won at the end got some little tacky teddy or something like that. And then there was the inevitable bingo, of course, yeah. Or housey housey as it used to be called back in the day. And fish and chip shops. There'd be donut places. Ice cream parlours, of course, which were always very famous and very popular with us as a kid. Then we'd have Madame Tussauds waxworks, which I think it's still there, actually. And then you'd have all kinds of arcades, but they'd be the penny arcades, not like they are now. I mean, now they're all sort of cheap versions of Las Vegas with the pinball machines they are now. You know, the old one-armed bandit, did they call them, yeah? But back in the day, they used to be very tame. And they only used to cost you a penny or 2 pence, in the old money I'm talking, not in the new money. So as a kiddie you could go in and you could maybe get, well, I used to get 2 shillings or half a crown, which was 2 and 6pence, which is ridiculous now. It's about 12.5 pence in the new money. But you used to play for ages with these, you know, penny things, yeah. And then we used to go into Blackpool Tower and they would have the circus. Back in the day when they could have animals in the circus, which as a kid I did not realise cruelty or anything, because you don't see that as a child, do you? You don't see that it's cruel to have the elephants walking around and the dogs and stuff. You don't see it. It's only as you grow as to an adult you realise, and you think, oh, how awful, you know, how terrible. But I always remember that they had, part of what was in the Blackpool Tower circus was the floor used to go down and it used to flood, and they had sea lions. Yeah, that was the last, you know, the last sort of act was sea lions. Yeah. Oh, that's telling me to shut up, so I will see you all very, very soon. Oh, stop it, stop it. It won't stop. Isn't it terrible when it won't stop? Anyway, bye for now. See you soon.